Good afternoon to you all. DRBMiller here. How's everybody doing? Hope you are healthy and well and staying indoors and staying at home at all times and following the government and scientists' directions and recommendations, obviously, for us to be preventing the spread of the virus, and we have got to be abiding by those rules 24/7 every single day. It's been quite rewarding and encouraging to see our Prime Minister today, early in the day. As you know, he's been away from his desk for almost 4 weeks due to coronavirus, and he developed a very serious COVID-19 infection, stayed in hospital, St. Thomas's this was, and was indeed admitted to the intensive care unit and spent several days there and was fighting for his life. So as you could see, even with the politicians and the leaders of our country and countries in the world, nobody's immune, nobody's spared, and everyone can catch this dreadful disease, and indeed it could pose a serious threat to life. Just try to think of the situation where at the beginning of the pandemic we would have lost our leader. It's just unimaginable, and the problems that this would cause, and just the feeling, the emotion that such situation would have been triggering off in many people is simply beyond imagination. And we are very glad to see that our Prime Minister recovered. He's back to work, and I'm certain that he will be doing everything possible to continue with this fight. It is a battle. We are at the beginning of this war, and indeed the stats are saying that we are succeeding through our social distancing and all the measures that have been applied. So we just have to be persevering. We have got to be very patient. We've got to build our nuclear shelter mindset, which means we've got to be living indoors indefinitely up to a point where we have vaccine or medication created and distributed once it's invented, because obviously we don't have a proper vaccine for this dreadful diseases yet, and therefore we'll have to be prepared for any form of contingency. Honestly, for the life of me, I don't understand those people who are constantly talking about relaxing the lockdown and getting back to work and that. Are you not aware of the fact that you might die, that you will not have life? If you catch this dreadful virus, you may develop COVID-19, and therefore your work, your life, and your family will be destroyed. You'll be gone. Do you not understand that? I mean, I'm not sure how much more graphic could one be when you see the pictures coming from around the world, from the US, where so many people tragically had died and so many people are infected, almost a million people infected in the US, and we've heard that more than, I think, 220,000 had died already around the world, and that's really the deaths registered primarily in hospitals. God knows how many other people died in nursing homes, in the community and elsewhere. And also the actual number of infected is the number that is based on the tests, and who knows how many other people are carrying the virus, having it at the moment. People who are asymptomatic, not having any major signs of the illness progressing and therefore infecting others. Goodness knows. And the only way to do our bit is by staying indoors, because like any virus, if it's prevented from the means of transmission, like any living entity, it will be subsiding. Its capacity to attack will definitely be receding. It will be going downhill. And that is what we have to be striving to. We've got to be getting to that level where we feel that in our local community the new cases are hardly any, or preferably we would say we have no virus at all, which is indeed the case in some of the countries where they had hardly any new people diagnosed. And that is to do also with the geographics of the particular region. If you have countries like New Zealand or Sweden that do not have many areas of dense population, evidently the draconian measures, lockdowns, will help tremendously, because you will be then able to cut this virus to size and prevent it from spreading, which means if you hold it for 4 to 6 weeks, then indeed it is possible that the virus will not be very present in the areas which are not very well populated. It will have its own life cycle, and therefore it will be basically almost disappearing from that particular part of the world. In Sweden they didn't have a strict lockdown. They had a system with kind of advisory measures, and I think they're paying the price for that, because obviously their casualties are mounting and there are many more people getting tested and getting diagnosed every single day. Like in any kind of pandemic, like in any kind of spread of the virus, the most essential thing is just to be grounded, to be prevented from any form of social contact. Even if we're talking about flus, basically what will you do? You will not be going to nightclubs, you will not be going to pubs, restaurants, or underground. You will want to be away from those places, because even at a time where flu is spreading, these are the places that are, first of all, experiencing the greatest number of people in transit, so people from all over the place, and they are basically coming into an area where you have little high quality air, so it's usually hot, it's polluted, and that sort of air is always carrying germs, bacteria and viruses. The viruses will breathe in there, and therefore we are going to be able to catch them very easy. So what do we do in a less dangerous situation than COVID-19? We stay away from those places for a certain number of weeks or months, up to a point where we know that the concentration of the virus had decreased, and therefore the capacity of the virus to affect us is lessened. So that is the basic rule. That's what really needs to be done in any situation of that sort. And if you're talking about deadly, lethal viruses like this one, this virus is particularly malignant because on one hand you will have people having very mild symptoms and not being affected much at all. On the other, you will have people developing symptoms that will prevent them with life-threatening illness, and sadly in some cases they will also pass away. We've seen so many people ending up in intensive care units and then sadly not coming out of there alive, and that is really absolutely heartbreaking. And every single person who passed away due to COVID-19 is in my thoughts and prayers every single day, and my heartfelt sympathies go to all of their families and loved ones, because behind those numbers are families, lives lost, people who lost their loved ones. And I run a service obviously that helps people psychologically to deal with such incidents. And I've talked to some people who experienced absolutely horrendous casualties. You had situations where in family, not just one but several members would have been affected, and sadly in some families had even 2 or 3 members dying within a period of a few weeks from one another. And we've seen stories on Sky News and BBC where you had twin sisters dying, and there's very, very many sad stories really related to the way this illness had been affecting many families around the world. We are not immune regardless of where we are, and therefore we've got to be sticking to the measures. So really very reassuring to see that the Prime Minister wants to do exactly that, and he did point out that this is not the time to be relaxed about things. We're in the middle of it, and therefore we have to carry on as we've done already for the previous period of I think 5-6 weeks so far. For myself, it's the quarantine day number 50. Right? So I've been in quarantine since the very beginning of March, and I've taken this decision because I've seen that the virus began to spread in Europe, and I knew full well from the stats coming out of China that the virus is going to be very, very deadly and highly dangerous, and therefore I've taken this decision. And I'm very, very glad I've done so, because obviously my anxiety levels or worries about catching it have been substantially decreased because I've taken necessary precautions, and therefore I had avoided any form of face-to-face contact with anyone during this period. In 50 days I've not seen sun or proper daylight. I've been out in my local nature reserve in the middle of the night just to get some fresh air where there's literally nobody about. You don't even see animals. To tell the truth, I actually did see some animals emerging even around our streets, and that is at night. We suddenly have a surge of foxes, and I've not seen foxes in my local area at all, because obviously in a densely populated area in a city they will be barely venturing out because they're afraid of people and cars and noise and everything else, and because throughout the whole day you have no noise because there's hardly any cars, no people at all anywhere, and at night in particular it is absolutely post-apocalyptic. It's absolutely eerie. If you were to put your head to the window, you can actually hear the silence. No planes, no cars, no trucks, no people, no animals, no nothing. You can actually hear the silence. You can smell the air because the air is phenomenally clear. It's the best quality air we had, according to the stats, in 200 years, since 1820s. So, for a nation that is obviously priding itself on its industrial heritage, having that quality air is truly revolutionary. And it's incredible. And when I go to the nature reserve in the middle of the night, you can really smell all of that fantastically clear, clean air. And also, what's interesting, you can even hear the nature breathing. I experienced that yesterday. You can hear the nature breathing, and it's quite unusual. You don't usually hear any of that. So that is the collateral. If there could be like one positive thing coming out of this absolutely dreadful, horrific pandemic, it is the rejuvenation of our atmosphere and our environment, which in fact is terrifying in both ways. On one hand, we all want the pandemic to disappear, to go away, for the war to be won, but on the other hand, we also want the air and the environment to be protected. So obviously these are going to be massive challenges for all of us in the future once we find the vaccine, and I'm sure that the heads of state as well as the industry leaders will have to do some serious thinking, because there will be a lot of pressure from the humans everywhere in terms of what changes will need to be applied. So anyway, just to summarize my introduction, first and foremost, stay at home UK. You've got to be at home at all times. Stay indoors UK, don't go out at all unless absolutely necessary. If you go out in the middle of the night where there's nobody about, you're not having any means of social contact then, and just do your shopping really quickly in 5 minutes. Do whatever you need to, buy whatever you need to get for the rest of the week for you to have something to eat. Do not socialize, do not talk to your neighbors, do not go and see your relatives. Make plenty of contact through WhatsApp and Skype and all other online apps. You can talk to everyone around the world in the same way as I do, both through the gaming forums and my other professional forums which are dedicated to health. I can talk to people from around the world about exactly what's happening, literally 24/7, without any form of danger of either myself being infected or me passing the virus on to them. So stay at home UK, stay indoors UK, protect the NHS. This is our National Health Service. If you're in other countries, protect your own health service. Save lives. You're saving your own life and the lives of your loved ones, and you're saving the lives of your neighbors if you're not socializing. If you are even if you are asymptomatic, you don't have any symptoms, and you carry the virus, you can infect lots of different people. So remember that. So by being indoors, not having social contact, you are preventing that. So you are a hero. And I say be a hero. So you are a hero because A, you're preventing the spread of the virus, you're fighting it through social isolation, and obviously by staying indoors. And secondly, if you join us here with our online gaming community, you can become a hero. You can be Jill Valentine, Marcus Phoenix, the Master Chief, or any other hero in any of the games by entering our world, playing the game, and then discussing it together with the rest of us. So it's a fantastic means of support on Twitch, Mixer, and YouTube Gaming. And it's interesting that I think that the numbers of people watching and playing actually did not exponentially rise. I thought everybody would be doing it, but I think that's really understandable because many people are very, very worried about consequences and have other pressing issues. So although there's a lot of time there available for them, they really probably are doing some other things which are based on the day-to-day contingencies. Right, so that was the introduction as far as the situation in our wider world, in our community is concerned. But I want to recap the weekend. I had the weekend of Destiny and also some games that are available free of charge through Xbox Live Gold. I always recommend such games every weekend to all the gamers, and frequently I promote as many as possible on Saturday and Sunday. We've had Bleeding Edge and also XCOM 2. Those games were offered through the Xbox services for free. You could play them literally from Friday to Monday. I think XCOM 2 is still accessible. I tried it earlier today and still operated, so I'm not sure when the cutoff point is. But Bleeding Edge experience was very disappointing. This is a game I tested a little while back through its beta, and I also participated in Xbox Ambassadors community gameplay. We've had lots and lots of technical problems during the beta, and that beta backfired on many levels, really technically. First of all, we were not able to use our special abilities properly. Secondly, the game was crashing a lot. Thirdly, it was freezing, and we were not able to really do anything serious in terms of the actual gameplay, and the gameplay is Battle Royale. It's a fighting game with lots of interesting characters resembling Borderlands and Apex Legends, Fortnite maybe through some of the in-game mechanics as well. And we couldn't do a thing really. It was just like literally just watching the graphics or enjoying a bit of the visuals, but the actual bottom line was not being able to try it properly, because you get in, your special abilities don't work, your games don't register, and then you are doing some of the fighting, and then suddenly bang, you're gone and the game didn't register. Or if you were carrying on, you could see the other teams having 260, 360, 560 points, and you're getting like 15 or 16. It was very poor, and this was like really disappointing on that front. On the other hand, the game was reeking of potential. You've seen lovable rogues, the characters, they were very funny, customizable. They had automated clips which were created from the best moments of a particular match. I thought it was wonderful. I really loved it. It could be automatically shared to Facebook and other social networking forums. And also I just like the atmosphere. There was like a battle royale death match. If you like fighting games and if you like really the use of special skills, this is going to be your bread and butter. There's no story or anything else, but just purely your fighting style battle royale. So on the weekend, as it was offered free of charge, I thought I'll revisit the game, and I'll be looking forward to see whether the changes were applied. I wanted to try out maybe a few tactics with a team. I wanted to get on with several characters, and then immediately as we went to the tutorial, we couldn't finish the first lesson because the game was freezing, and it was like freezing beyond redemption. It was like literally a glitch in there. You were doing one of the steps, and then suddenly everything froze, and that was it. So you couldn't complete the tutorial. So that was really very annoying. Then I've done all the other lessons which were not freezing, but that first one. It's so annoying. It happened on the first one, right? And then we've done some practice. It's called Dojo in there. You can re-practice quite a bit, so that worked fine. And after doing all the tutorial, I have to tell you, the tutorial is very lengthy, so you'll need to be, well, to be honest with you, they did shorten up the tutorial here for the game. Initially, when we've done beta, was a lot more in depth, or maybe they cut down on some of the special abilities. I'm not sure, but it seemed like a lot shorter yesterday compared to the past. Then I wanted to do matches, and they wouldn't work. I couldn't get into a single match, and it kept giving me a message indicating you are missing out on a support character or support character for this team. And I was actually choosing one of these because I have 3 different types of characters you're bringing in, because it's helping your strategy. And I selected all 3 of them deliberately, consistently, and the message kept popping up. So you get into the lobby, and then in a few seconds the game crashes and you're being brought back to the menu. I tried it like quite a few times, 20 times, and it didn't work. It was just a complete non-starter, a fluke of 100%, and very, very disappointing. And I think really, considering that if you are running a campaign where you're promoting the game through freebies on the weekend, you're likely to attract streamers, both on Mixer and on Twitch, who will be streaming the game and providing you with some enjoyable gameplay, commentary and all else, and obviously lots of social interactions. What sort of promotion will that be if everyone watching will actually become fully aware of how glitchy and technically unsound the game is? It's just shooting yourself in the foot. So really, Ninja Theory, you really have to sort this out. I'm not very negative about if there are glitches, but this was outstandingly poor. This was like on the level of Anthem VIP demo, where you couldn't get in at all, or you couldn't get your characters to work, or there was rubber banding 300%. It's that sort of bad. And the game is in circulation. We can access the game through Xbox Game Pass, so I don't have any restrictions on gameplay. I can come in at any time and play it as long as I like. But the game doesn't work. So, and considering how impatient many gamers are really today about glitches in the games that actually work, having such major obstacle is really a nail in the coffin, I'm afraid. It's really bad. And then I've seen some messages. I was trying to find out whether they were trying to repair the technical issues through Twitter and various other support forums of Ninja Theory. Nothing at all, not a word mentioned. However, hashtag Bleeding Edge was giving you an idea that people are very, very annoyed with that glitch, and the problem that was persisting. And secondly, there were quite a few, well, a number of people saying, how come that no one's watching Ninja Theory, Bleeding Edge? Well, nobody wants to watch the activity where you were constantly booted out, where you couldn't really complete a single match. So I was very disappointed, and I was really kind of annoyed with myself that even I attempted to promote the game, because it didn't really, you really want to present the very best. So if you are playing a game that works perfectly, you could say, well, this game perhaps is not for me because the content is not of my liking. There's something that really doesn't gel with me, properly. But I quite like the idea of the game, and as I said, the characters are lovable rogues and very interesting and very exciting, and definitely are kinds of characters that I want to see again and again. I really like characters in Borderlands and in Apex and in Fortnite, and this is sort of kind of ghoulish criminals that get together and fight amongst each other. So definitely a game that I want to be playing, but I'm actually prevented from doing so by all the technical issues. Anyway, cut long story short, it was disappointing, and I can't recommend the game to anyone at the moment. Just wait until the issues are resolved. In the same way as I said about Anthem, a fantastically immersive, beautiful open world with many different challenges and wonderful enemies, but it didn't work on a technical front. So if you were getting into the arena, nothing more frustrating than trying to work out how to play the game and then being booted out consistently, experiencing rubber banding. In fact, Anthem will stream here shortly. I got it now on PlayStation and also on Xbox, and I purchased recently its Legion of Dawn edition, which is the Platinum edition. It was offered for only £10, and that was very exceptionally cheap, and I'd say even cheaper to what you would have had in our local CX. And that was really very good, so I was able to get it on really next to nothing. And as you know, I'm a great dedicated follower and fan of the developer, BioWare, and I played the vast majority of the games over the years. All of them I just loved, and there have been some concerns in recent years about the direction they took. There was a lot of displeasure on display for Mass Effect because the new chapter, Andromeda, didn't seem to connect in the same way with the story of the trilogy and all that was previously seen. Multiplayer, its integration didn't turn out to be as popular. Lots of people were very critical. I've not actually played the game, so I can't really give you my own personal judgment, but we are going to do it here at some point as I'm revisiting Mass Effect Trilogy, and so obviously it will take me probably a little bit of time to get to it. But then on the other hand, maybe I'll combine Andromeda together with Mass Effect 1 or 2, because it's a separate story, and the trilogy is obviously interconnected, but with Andromeda we have different characters and everything is obviously pursuing a different kind of fable compared to the original. But the biggest problems emerged with the sequel for Dragon Age that was seen as very poor and not really accepted by the community. An even bigger problem was with Anthem that completely backfired, and it was to be one of their sort of new generation games, completely based on the multiplayer with a lot of storytelling. And I thought that visually the game was exciting and it provided us with lots of interesting activities, but rubber banding all the time and crashes and infinite loading periods and all sorts of other technical problems which were very annoying. Also the game freezing, getting booted out several times, that sort of thing. It was just not really acceptable for the game of that magnitude. And it turns out that the problem is with the game engine. They released the game too early, and you know it all. It is a game that required a lot of resources, and I think they really kind of overreached themselves with some of the ideas. I thought they probably should have spent another year, 2 years working on it and building it, because if the game is not positively received due to its content, that's fair enough, but if it doesn't work either with the content or on the technical front, then obviously is presently seen as a complete disaster. So Bleeding Edge and Anthem demo and the launch of the game were really amongst the worst experiences I've had of multiplayer online gaming ever, and that's not really something that we want to be revisiting frequently. Okay, the other game I introduced on the weekend was XCOM 2, And this is a game I wanted to play on 360 a little while back, but didn't get to eventually. And then also with the sequel released on Xbox One, it was on the top of my list, but because they kept the price really very, very high, around sort of 40 to 50 pounds, I've not gone there. So this was a perfect opportunity to find out what the game was like. And I have to tell you, the game is astonishingly good. It is a wonderful combination of a very immersive RPG full of activity and literally an excellent strategy game. It's a usual kind of taking turn strategy. So you'll have 4 characters that you play and you'll decide where they are positioned and what they do, and then the game will do it for you. So it's very similar to point and click strategy games of what you do on your PC. And really good story, and you really are brought in straight away. And there are some challenges. I think it works a lot better on a PC because you are using various controls and commands on a taskbar, which is displayed at the bottom, and it's much easier to click them with the mouse than with your controller. So it's a bit of a fiddle, really. And also I had a difficulty in during the first mission we had to be hacking into a kind of a transmitter, and I couldn't work out why the hack command was not given to me, and it did take a little while before I really managed to resolve it. But as as a strategy game that combines the elements of classical PC strategy with RPG, it was terrific. I enjoyed every bit of it. I really regret it I had not played it since Friday, because it is as immersive as I said, and really draws you to learn more. Like in other strategy games, you have lots of characters you talk to, and they're giving you lots of different types of information. You're all kind of blending in the knowledge together in order to find out what the enemy is doing to you. So it is really a good thinking man's game. So just like shoot 'em up, you need to really think about what the consequences are going to be, because if you are losing soldiers, for instance, you'll need to run new recruitment. If you are not having enough materials, you need to do a lot of mining. And there are many factors in there that will be pointing you in a particular direction. And just the story was very good, the graphics were great, and also with the fighting sequences you had the classical kind of bird's view for strategy, and then if you were to be firing or attacking the opponents, then you would have POV. So I was well integrated, it looked really good, and I loved it. I'm really bought 100%, and I want to buy the game yesterday, but you know what? £45 for that game is just simply something I'm not going to pay, and I have to wait until there is an offer on the game in due course, either through some sort of offers with gold or spring sale or any other sale, and I'm sure it will be featuring there sooner or later, and therefore I'll take it on a fraction of that cost. And I did purchase another game that was on my list for quite a while, and also the game was kept there with fairly high prices. Just bear with me, I'm getting some messages very quickly to see. Okay, so it's thank you to sociallinks.co and Reddit official. Thank you very much for supporting my stream and for retweeting and introducing our channel to other people on Twitter. I really appreciate it. Thank you for that. Yeah, I wanted to tell you about this other game. It's been on my list for quite a while, and I got to say that sometimes due to the sheer volume of the games that keep coming in, I don't always remember the title instantly unless you're talking about well-known games and blockbusters. And yeah, it's Remothered Tormented Fathers. Visually, when I'm seeing the trailers, it reminded me of Jonathan Demme's Silence of the Lambs, right? And that basically is the aura that the game is presenting. So I really wanted to try it from the beginning, but the price of the game was really quite high. And if you are a fan of survival struck horror games, there's a big discount on Xbox at the moment. You go to Microsoft Store, you'll find quite a selection. And one of those that stands out indeed is Remothered Tormented Fathers. So I'm really very excited to have bought it for only £7.28. So it's like a really low price. And I'm really kind of itching to play it more or less straight away. But we have our schedule for this week, so we'll try to fit it in at some point. I played The Evil Within on PlayStation quite a bit, and that's quite a tricky game. It's a proper survival horror game, similar to Resident Evil. You need to do lots of different things in order to survive, and it's a classical survival, no replay, you know. And it can be frustrating. I think certainly for myself, I like saves and don't like to be repeating the same thing again and again, but that's the joys of mastering a particular skill in a certain type of game. So that was a weekend. We had Destiny, Guardian Games. I had lots of achievements. I picked up many medals. All of those were completed. To my joy, I completed lots of bounties coming from Ava, and we'll carry on with that sort of thing today. And then obviously the weekend was also giving us enough time for Xbox Live Gold freebies and the presentations on that front. As said, Bleeding Edge, which was disappointing due to its technical issues, and then a wonderful discovery. A terrific strategy stroke RPG game, XCOM 2, which I'm recommending to everyone. I love that kind of discovery because I obviously play lots of games, I watch lots of films, and there's nothing better than either discovering a film or a game that you never ever heard of. It turns out to be incredible, or the one that you kind of kept your eyes on and you never got to because of various other factors and reasons, you know, be it the time factor or the price of the game, and then you discover it in due course and you find out the game is incredible. That is the best possible discovery, and that for me was XCOM 2, so I can most highly recommend it to everyone. But now we are going to be cracking on with some wonderful activity here. Guardian Games is just going to be, I'm afraid. As you know, these are activities scattered into several areas, and we need to be quite methodical to collect our medals and the bounties and get the best of rewards, and that's exactly what we'll do. It did take me a bit of time on Tuesday and Wednesday of last week when the games kicked off, because I wasn't quite sure how to really get the medals, but if I'm not mistaken, we couldn't get the medals right at the beginning, but then on the second or third day I was able to purchase them, and that made it really easy for me to know exactly what to do. Maybe it was because either Bungie tweaked it or I had to do certain quests first before I was having clear access. Not sure. But anyway, I passed that point, and the activity generally was very enjoyable. But I've got to tell you, the rewards which you're getting are not particularly interesting. They're not particularly useful. On some medals I got like 2 or 3 blue items, and these were below my current light level. So the question was, what was I doing all this for? But the activity was very enjoyable and very competitive. I had lots of people popping in and doing it. I've seen about 15 or 20,000 people watching on the weekend, and I think many other people were playing the game through Bungie servers. So it was a wonderful sign. On the other hand, I have to tell you, before we crack on with gameplay, I read an article today on Games Radar about Destiny 2 direction, basically the direction that developer is taking. They will have a series of developer diaries, I think, from later this week, and they will be describing to the community the works they were doing during the last couple of months, because they were very concerned about the number of negative comments that they were receiving from various Destiny veterans. And overall, the community was very angry that the new content was all based on bounties, so everyone was oversaturated like OD on the bounties, and they also felt that the bounties were not giving proper rewards. I didn't write to them, but I felt that the overall activity was not at all connected to the story. They said Shadowkeep was going to open up the new horizon of storytelling, and that's not happened yet, right? We've not had any of these activities. Think about it. We do the Crucible in any case. We do Gambit. We do Strikes. We do various other strike-like activities like Escalation Protocol and all this on various planets. And that really is what we can do in any case. So that, if brought into a particular activity like Guardian Games, will will need a degree of connectivity to the story. For instance, if you think about it, you have a new chapter, and in that chapter there are lots of different kinds of items that somebody will need to get in order to progress forward in the game. Could be artifacts, could be flags, could be something you need to use to open certain gates. So you can have a number of those, and they can be then acquired through lengthy grinds. So you will not be able to progress story-wise unless you get these items through these lengthy grinds. And maybe you can even make these lengthy grinds adaptable. So some people who do not like them, perhaps they can purchase them if they're fed up with lengthy grinds. But it needs to be left like an option to all gamers. And that will bring all the elements together. Collecting items that are, I guess, done on the cheap, blue items, or even the mauve ones, the purple ones. You get these and they're not useful. So what's the point? I acquired maybe one chess piece that looked quite good, and I did manage to get the achievement of 12 exotics from Red War campaigns, which is quite, I wouldn't say it's a rare achievement, but maybe 20% of overall gamers acquired it. And that's because I've been doing these lengthy grinds, and that's quite rewarding. But in any case, it's like in-game. It's not very much to do with Guardian games in particular. So they said the developer diaries are going to be giving us some illumination on the type of direction that they are to take, and I'm excited. I want to see what this is going to be, and it does look like the whole year. So that means from Shadowkeep to September will not have that RPG content that I previously described. And they're saying the problem is with the tech side of things. And I think presently, due to the lockdown and social distancing measures, it is possible that they can't actually manage that on the human resources front either. So, Guardian games are very enjoyable, but I'm looking forward to seeing and hearing more from Luke Smith and his team. Luke Smith is the game director, I should say, and quite curious to see how they will explain the absence of more substantial content. The difficulty for such developers is if you have a season like the year 2, right, or 3 seasons that were delivered there, and those turn out to be extremely hectic and busy with all sorts of content, and you literally work 365 days a year without a break, 18 hours a day in order to provide it. You really have got to have something which is a proper substitute or an adequate replacement at the end of that period, because although, like myself, I found those seasons to be too busy, I was never short of activity. There was always something new to do, and that was rewarding. And you'll get people who spend a lot more time doing the game than myself, and they will find that if there is a complete absence of the similar content, then they'll find it to be completely pedestrian. It's not interesting. And that's exactly what they feel about the latest season. They feel that there's nothing in it. I wouldn't say there's nothing in it, but certainly the number of activities are not as great as we've had during the year 2, and I think this is a serious problem for Bungie, and we need to see how they will remedy this, because if the game has a kind of longevity, and as you want it to have a long shelf life, you will need to be considering how those extensions and additions will keep everybody happy and occupied. So we'll see. I look forward to those developer diaries. So what we'll do now is we'll play our Warlock Human Male 968. The game, of course, is DRBMiller. In other words, myself. I run this channel called Gaming Dialogue. Been doing so for a little while. We've had Destiny pegged to the channel, the backbone of everything we did. And we also have Halo and Mass Effect as two other big games that are presenting us with a lot of interesting activity. And in the Season 2 of my broadcast, which did begin earlier this year, I also diversified. So we have a much greater kind of variety stream here on the channel. That includes some streams on Mixer as well. And obviously we always go back to our favorite big games that are almost like its foundation stone, and Destiny is definitely that one. Halo is going to be another, and I wanted Halo to be very much of a foundation for my Mixer channel, but sadly Mixer is not performing on the technical front. It has many problems, and the biggest of which is it doesn't always record your broadcasts, and that for me is completely unacceptable because my broadcasts are archived. And for anyone who is a regular viewer of the channel, they might be busy at school, work, family, you name it, and they'll watch the archived footage whenever they have time. So losing important broadcasts like weekly news or specific reviews is just not an option. So I've really withdrawn from Mixer almost altogether. I do my news bulletins there once a week, and that's about it, up to the point where indeed the platform is improved. And that's the sole reason as to why the platform is not attracting many viewers or indeed gamers, and they'll have a lot of difficulty building a community in view of what I've seen, because Twitch is just incomparably superior in every way imaginable, particularly on the technical front. Okay, so let's just get on with some activity. I'm itching to do some Crucible. We'll be doing a lot of Gambit, and Gambit was very enjoyable, and there were lots of fierce enemies in there. It's been reworked since I was doing it last, and I really kind of felt very happy with all of that activity. There were some good teams up and about as well, and we had lots of fun.
Don't worry too much about winning. Just enjoy yourself.
Saved, and
Terribly.
I need to sit there if there is anything for me to collect or deposit. I couldn't remember off the top of my head, but I believe I had completed all of that, which is more than now. Right, so we'll go over. So I'm getting a reward. These rewards have been generally very poor, and the daily reward was not giving me a kind of selection of tools that will be very useful for the activity, and I just did it as a sign of duty, with excitement. What a terrific you warlocks have made yesterday, Ava says. Silver looks very cute, but I see the fire in your eyes. You want God. So she laughs. Don't give up, my friends. Please take this reward for your efforts so far. Let it inspire you as you move forward. Okay, so these, as you can see, they're completely useless. These rewards will be useful for people who are joining Destiny, but if you've been a veteran, you've done it for several years, these are not really providing us with any significance, I'm afraid. What's that thing flying behind her, I wonder? So in here, this is a daily bounty. Defeat targets with break at long range. Storm and final blows with storm. It's defeat titans and hunters in Gambit or the Crucible. So Stormcaller using a cheat. Okay. Some additional bounties there. Okay, we've got plenty of. Now we need to purchase these medals. Go for the gold. Go for bronze, silver, gold. So that's all purchased, and then that's. I'm in that very sure, but I have space for anything else. Oh, I have plenty of space. Okay. Seasonal quest from the season.
Remember, my friend.
So I think we probably will start. Defeat enemies in Gambit Prime. Okay, so some activity there for Gambit.
Slain any lately?
Destinations. Crucible. Okay. So it looks like we can get Gambit and Crucible rather than strikes. But to be honest with you, when I was doing the strikes the other day, we've had so many laurels and was able to really progress much faster compared to the Crucible in particular. Quests seem to be pacified.
Will always cover the darkness.
Okay, so I think what we'll do is, let me see the seasonal side there, if we have anything that can be picked up. No, we still don't have that. Can be luminous. Okay. And see if there is a chance for us to pick up another artifact. Not sure whether or not. Looks unlikely. Enhanced small arms loader. Sword scavenger. Overload rat. Flourishing blade. Splintered gladiator. Wait a minute. Captains, combatants, winners with hand cannons, sidearms. Defeating combatants or opponents with auto rifles or submachine gun. That's not particularly good either. Chest armor mod, chest. Solid abilities. This? Flare up. Hammer of the War Mind. Or the prize may be a good idea. So we need to see, we'll put it maybe there if possible.
I'm glad Guardians are back in it.
Automatic prize. Let me see.
Alive, Guardian.
Not this. No.
Did you miss me?
discipline mod.
Mind me of some.
Puzzles do you bear? We live in dangerous times. I hope you have me that might.
Really?
Late
Not really.
traveler will always triumph. I know it.
Better read it.
It's funny, it's called Bleeding Edge, just like the game. Gain super energy, kills, grants increased discipline. That's
Remain
good.
vigilant.
No, so we can't do any of this. Okay, so we'll go to the Crucible. Right, just so now we'll get some fierce action in here. Saying that needs to go to the vault. I'm quite certain there is. So this is Prophecy, Dust Rock Blues. Nose Dagger. So in here we have Trust, Rifle. We don't want any of these. Okay, that is 50. Grenade. Okay. I can put in that. Okay, so that's sorted. We want to have this in there with sub like Sovereign. Oh yeah, I remember. I really. I need more energy. Need to improve that. Oops. This is not bad either. The idea is sometimes to be wearing the outfit line to the stuff. And then we have Ancient. I don't think this was as good. Could have been more wrong. This is awesome. This is like really good, beautifully designed. So all of these are awesome. So what do I put in the vault? Solstice robes. Okay. These. Chromatic. Well, too many good items, too many good outfits, and I'm getting lost in it all. And I just have to be Starfire Protocol and Static Fire. Wings of Sacred Dawn are very good for mobility though. Necessary was that? Oh no, we have 58 in there. And that's 63. Vault's concerned, but we need to infuse some of the items, if at all possible, in order to increase the the light. It's 968. £10 up. Purchase that upgrade module, which we can do here. You don't look too banged up. So that will be the first port of call. Really like it. And then we'll dismantle. So it's gone up to 9 seats. That's about it, I think. 965. Navities. 967. This was 964. That's superior. Alright, so that, well, first of all, I'll pick up some bounties from our friend Look. Next step.
Guardian, fight like it.
You're alive, Guardian, fight like it. Maybe it's just another robe with, you know, better light level. So,
As you are.
energy weapon. Heavy ammunition.
Careful with that.
And still take. That's probably.
Battles are just a lesson.
Think.
Our work is unfinished, Guardian. What can I do?
So the bounty's all up there. So we have 8
Needs our help.
Avers.
Get out there.
Right. See.
What you, Guardian? With rookies at Twilight
Gambit.
Cap, we'd all be speaking fallen.
So that'll be points. Okay. That's not right. So we have points. We have
Damage reports are coming
combatants.
in across the system. My Red Jacks are spooked.
Okay, so that is basically any destination. Let's combatant. Laurels. Right, go bounties. Then defeat targets with void grenades.
I know you're busy, Guardian, but the Crucible needs
Void
veterans
melee.
now more than ever.
I'll attack, but we'll be stronger for it.
Okay, so that's one corner. Done, so I'll do in a second. Hand cannon, final blows. Melee. Warlock at point.
Damage reports are coming in across spooked.
All clear. Void ability.
I know you're busy,
Then-
Guardian, but the Crucible needs veterans now more than ever.
Ability. Let me see.
Like what Zavala may say, you must fight in his
Vortex
stead.
grenade, Axiom bolt. It's better.
If my function is to serve the Vanguard, how better than the Guide Guard?
The ED's
We are ready to engage. Therefore, we'll look here and then the matchmake day. Destination Crucible. It's Sekapupu and maybe back or yeah, because I want to be trying trials, but as soon as I fight him, that is that's the idea. So here we have control. Okay, we'll go to control very shortly. I need to break, and I'll be back in a couple of minutes, and then we'll carry on with the Crucible. So stay with us. I'll be back literally in about 2 minutes.
I don't care that you have strikes to get to. Worry about the fight in
Monitoring all channels. Stay alert.
This is not the Crucible, but not every place can be perfect. Plenty of hostiles left for us.
You think the Red Legion would stop there? Beat your opponent?
The universe is getting, but it's nothing a few surgeons won't fix.
have to act immediately. Red Legion is everywhere.
Stay alert. Alert.
Plenty of hostiles left to fight, Guardian. It's them or us.
Dying is an essential element of the Crucible. In there.
System diagnostic complete. This unit functioning at 98% optimum. Affirmative. All clear.
Did you pull the trigger on the fair prince?
System may be faulty. Suggest diagnostic to check for any compromise in programming. Check in. All positions clear.
Fight hard for your opponents to go easy.
Tell the Vanguard if they want better fighters on the front lines, they need to give me time. I am a hero of attack. You're busy, Guardian, but the Crucible needs veterans now more than ever.
Security scans in progress.
Guardians, the time has come to clean up the universe.
System diagnostic complete. This unit functioning at optimum performance. All clear at current location.
Red Jacks, this is our Site 9940 of the Vanguard. Hold fast.
It does take a long time to get slotted in. A lot longer than we could have expected. But it's been a problem now for a few days, and just hoping that once we are slotted into the first match, then we can just carry on and stay with the not maybe the same group of players, but the matchmaking will be a bit faster. This is surprising, but I think it's probably to do with the fact that they restricted the number of rooms that people can enter in view of the lockdown, and you know. The absence of human resources. I reset my Valor rank because I've come to Fabled. The top, or was it Heroic, or what was it, Legendary? I forget now. I've reset it many times already since I started playing Destiny 2. But remember to reset it, it's very important, as you will be then getting certain kinds of loot, which is sort of aligned to your progression within the Valor rank concept. And then you're getting all the goodies. Oh, there we are, 12 out of 12, finally! My goodness, it's been a while, but I'm sort of itching to crack on with the match. Didn't tell you, but the weather has been very, very good in our local area. A very, very warm, very hot weekend. But today it is not. Today the temperature's dropped, it's murky, and we're expecting a lot of rain tonight. And in fact, I welcome the rain. I really do. Because if you have terrible weather, then it's less likely that people will go out when they shouldn't. You know, it's keeping people indoors, and that really helps. Retribution, upper stratosphere on Mars.
Control.
There we are. There we are. Come on.
Move in and take those zones. They are your life. Enemy claims A. You captured zone.
Some enemy. The night in the zone, isn't
Advantage. You
that wasn't the perfect exit. So now it's a bit slow. No. Ragnar.
Don't power play. Pressure of getting you fight. I love.
Oh. Yeah, this guy faster than. He's
Don't be.
sad in my favor. More than that. See
Zone
me
C.
though.
Zone advance.
Look at him. Eating and lying, fucking grinning everything. And man, it's not bad. In that PvP. The other one, that's too. Up. Let's see, use that. Is that it?
Capture your
That's not very sick of it. So hopefully the other
zone B.
match.
Opponents are gaining.
Why didn't he die? It's like really fast.
Advantage is
Yeah, you're being too boo winning.
and up.
Oh, that's made in there. But reason of fear is this guy's, and you can see he has the fiber than me. Oh no, he's the
See you.
on similar as well, I'm not doing very at all. Reason that I can't kill, he's on a much faster. It's like 2 seconds ahead of. And already Himes. A lot of. Oh, look at that. Sentinel is absolutely gust. But
Zone A lost. Only one. Zone have.
the game really bad. Get through to that.
10 seconds. That brings
No, no worry. No, we won.
you fight
One
like
for
a demon.
5.
More like you.
That wasn't too bad. I mean, I thought really bad, and I had 50. The team was really astonishingly good. So okay, we'll stay with the crew and need to re-up the game a bit because this was not particularly good. Valor. Guardian 2. Even rewarded. Let's see. Okay. Some people left. Come on, hurry up. 62, 61. Okay. 63, 61. We don't really want the same one. 65, 62. It's the same one, I think, isn't it? Yeah. It's a reward as well. Not particularly good. Triumphs to look at. Mods. I remember the one I picked up. There it is. Shotgun targeting. Rarely use shotgun, I must admit. Not really my weapon of choice in there. Automatic prize. Collections. Triumphs. Okay. Nearly there. I completed one of those, okay. Defeat Titans Hunters in Gambit or the Crucible. So, up the ladder. Not many points. Weekly bounties, 4 points, daily bounties, 2 points to go up to the bounty. Okay. Laurels. Actually, you could see there was a fault. No laurels. No laurels at all. Not a single one. So there is a glitch in there. And that didn't register either. Raids, strikes and quest missions do not contribute progress. Maybe Gambit will do it now, and I will see. But there were no laurels at all. Not a single laurel dropped. So that's the problem that we've had earlier in the week on some of the maps. The laurels were not seen. And no idea why that is.
I know you can fight, but can you hold territory? Enemy claims zone. Zone A. Zone B. You have zone
Not it. Me.
lost.
I'm playing guys and Ragnarsson's there.
Zone captured. You advantage. Zone lost.
Ah, he hoof.
Zone B. Zone advance. Yours. Zone A captured.
Saw him on the raid. Visually, I didn't see. He was good. Completed the bounty as well.
Zone B.
I'm going there. I thought there was some hiding. Fortunately, that was just imagination. There was no one.
Zone C. Advantage is yours. Power. Keep the pressure on. Ahead. A. Zone C.
Out.
Ikora would be you war. B locked.
This is not doing justice, I'm afraid. So that grenade is going to be gone.
Zone A lost. Power. Enemy has your zone. Zone C cap.
Actually, that's Vortex. Jump it.
Zone A lost. Advantage. Zone C lost.
Snap in there.
5 minutes. Gaining.
Yes.
Zones you.
Das Marmite. Okay. Like a bitter taste. Don't know where he was. So use them like
Stronger as you fight. Love it.
I'm completing bad.
He lost.
But it's fun rolls in here. That so some in there.
You can have advantage. B lost. You have advantage. They lost.
2 minutes. He didn't die. Well dead. So would have hit him.
Don't beat you. Only one left.
Finally, done.
B lost. He captures. Capture. Play. Pressure. B lost. A well-free.
She rewards 1 engram.
Hope.
I'll return to orbit because I'm not getting any laurels. You would have seen that. No laurels. Where are the laurels? And it does say there that there should be laurels. Right, let me see the rewards I received so far. So you could see this is just a completely useless type of item. 64, 64, 63. And that's hard truths. Just a second. Bounties. Super and opponents. Okay, defeat avoid grenades. Avoid melee abilities. Okay, grenades and okay. Probably easily achieved in some other activities, but I don't understand why we're not getting laurels. That's weird. Gambit, gambit, gambit. Well, we'll migrate to, we'll do one more match here of the Crucible, we'll migrate to Gambit. Because this is not cutting it, I think. Not getting anything in there. Which is a bit strange. I collected so many laurels, well, many laurels dropped, but not all of them registered. It's what we observed early in the week. Maybe it's just glitched today, I don't know. We'll see. There are any laurels to be dropped. Because I'm certain I've seen laurels in there. Defeat combatants. Yeah, collect laurels on any destination. Raids, strikes and quest missions do not contribute. Weird. Well, let's just wait and see. Well, it looks like this is like brought into somebody else's map.
Zone B.
Yeah, that crew is gonna go. No longer the same crew.
Zone B. Zone advantage is
Being thrown into. That C. What upsets me is I can see inferior in there being just because, you know, they're like succeeding and my superior were not really producing.
Zone B.
So
Zone C. You. Zone C lost. Shut the out.
few of them high there. Looks like a big rep.
Advantage is Only 5 minutes left. Captured zone. You.
Last petition.
Zone B.
What was that? Been following me. Jump.
It's left.
Pushing it out. All three of them. Lord work. Well, surprise, surprise.
You're in. Zone A. Zone of.
You suck at that. Laurels are being. They began.
Zone A. You captured zone of. Is yours. He's second.
This is close.
This is it. Lead. This is all up.
Well, that's tight. Really. Really tight.
Tell everyone you're my favorite guardian. Who cares? It like an
Didn't
animal.
really do anything in there either. Not sure why I'm slotted in with these really extremely fast fiber teams. Causing me a lot of difficulty, obviously. At least we are collecting some laurels. So let us see whether this is going to work on our quests. Okay. No, it's not working. I collected loads of laurels in there. Let's just collect laurels on any destination. Not working. Well, that's annoying. That was one of the complaints earlier in the week. There were people saying we were doing all the laurels and nothing registered, and that's the prime example now. First of all, we played about 4 or 5 maps with no laurels. Now we played one map with loads of laurels, none registered. So technically it's not sound, it's not operating as it should. Well, let's wait and see. We'll do another match. Another match. Let's hope we will get some laurels.
Control.
It's frustrating when you're doing all of the hard work and then,
Take those zones, Guardian.
you know, you get nothing.
You captured C. Enemy claimed zone.
Two for one.
Claimed zone B. They have the lead.
Life. Ready.
Zone A cap. You have zoners.
Shot me. See that? Movement path. Lag of one makes it to get away.
Lost. Power. Get those zones. Capture. C. You. Zone. You captured advantage.
Second.
Lost. Capture. Haven't. Gains the. Zone. You can see. Have the. Keep the and up yours. A lost. Advantage is yours.
2 for 1 together.
Zone you wanted.
Yeah. Well, not we. The guys are not what they're losing.
You captured zone play. If you want. No. Zone A. You captured zone. 3 minutes. Station. Captured the power plant. Keep the zone. Lost. Zone C. You have advantage.
We have the advantage.
He lost. You kept. Two triple 4.
4 of them. That's amazing.
That's all I ask.
So that was good. Captured 11 zones. Look at that, I excelled. So that's good. This was the first match where I could really do something because there weren't that many fiber gamers out there. Or, indeed, fiber plus veterans. That really causes headache. So let's hope the crew stays together. Let me see whether it will. No. Obviously, it's when it's working out for me, then it's gonna be bringing me in with other guys on fiber, and it's just nonsense. Alright.
Zone C lost. Zone A captured. Zone advantage is yours. Their lead has diminished. Keep it up. control.
Oh, look at this, only 3 people in my team. Only 3 people in my team. What's going on with matchmaking? Come on, there's no laurels in the last match either. Lots
I
of
know you
technical
can
faults.
fight, but can you hold territory?
Massive lag.
Claim zone A. Zone C.
No, I was slow there. It's my fault. 4 against 3. Absolutely.
Enemy lady.
For some reason, my weapon is having this massive recoil. Why? Shouldn't be happening.
Zones your enemy or play.
I missed him again. He got me for the sim. Ah, it's ridiculous.
To lead. Destroy it.
Well, that will be very considering how fast.
You can end. Zone A lost. Enemy has a power. Shut the enemy down. Zone A. Shut me down.
Where was I? See him?
Zone A lost. Enemy zone captured.
Actually, the other was firing at me. This isn't fair.
You have advantage.
Didn't launch my super and leave them in there.
Zone captured zones. You have a lock.
This is directing it directly at.
You can't kill dead.
Annoys me that I can see infants. Image. It's like dots on that
I've
weapon.
seen enough calling this one. Zone capture. Advantage. You're beaten this time.
Yeah, this is all really didn't really go technically at all. Bet the laurels didn't register. probably enough time for another match. Then we'll have a break, and then we'll come back at some point in the evening. Let me see. Quests. Nothing. Void grenades, nothing. Void melee, nothing. Excuse me. No, it's Laurel's not registering. It's not working. So tonight we probably have to come back to Gambit, because this is not giving us anything. It's funny, I talked about that frustration voiced by many community members and directed at Bungie. They'll be doing quite a series of developer diaries to kind of pacify the community. People really angry about what they've seen recently, which is surprising as the community was sort of pacified now for quite a while. They just felt that Bungie were not delivering, and I think maybe it was a trap for Bungie after that year 2, where we received, you know, a lot of content, massive quantity of activities we all had to go through, and then evidently for anyone who was doing it and grinding it for 12-14 months, having the recent activities kind of mundane. And this is very annoying, because I have to say, doing Guardian games and then some of the maps don't give you laurels. You pick up laurels in another map and they don't register. So I have no idea why. Some maps were given no laurels. Being brought into somebody else's game. Matchmaking doesn't seem to work today either. Well, multiplayers have been plagued by all sorts of activities. Look at this, not even loading mine. Go away. No, no. I did not. It's for the third time I'm slotted in with somebody else's game, and that's just not acceptable. I don't want to do that. Want to play the game from the beginning. Yeah, I was just going to say that lots of multiplayers are affected by lockdown, and you know, they don't have many enough people doing the maintenance and providing all the services, so it's just literally leaving everything on remote, and that doesn't always work. I think it doesn't really affect you that much if you got the problem of that sort with PvE, but with PvP, people are here for scoring and competition. You know, the Thrive, you've seen some of the guys in there like literally as high as a kite on adrenaline. He had this repetition weapon, he was firing it off with such speed, it's almost like a machine gun, and using grenades and supers, everything at once. It was incredible. Those competitive players will be gravely concerned. So the emblems are not showing anything that we've had before, like they display the number of kills or the scoring, and nothing seems to be displayed for some reason, don't know why. And have a look at that again. Quests. Nothing on the bounties, look. Yeah, these are the boundaries that perhaps are not in sync with some of my activities, so that's one of the reasons. Not to worry really too much, all good really. But what annoys me is this, look, boundaries points to laurels of your class 3 points, laurels of other classes 1 point. I collected loads of laurels, but you've seen the laurels in the Crucible were like coming and going. Some maps will have laurels and other maps will have nothing. So obviously that is not good. Right, so that'll be last match before the break. I'm watching our news conference at 5 o'clock, wondering whether we'll see our Prime Minister emerging, saying few things. They denied it. They said that the news conference is going to be done as usual without him. But, you know, we might be in for a surprise, we'll see. Certainly would be very good to see him take questions and respond to all that's coming from the press. He's going to be in for a difficult period because there will be certainly a lot of criticism directed at him and his earlier rhetoric about not imposing the lockdown early, and we'll have to see what he does. We are still within the first phase of this battle, so I think it's completely wrong to be looking at anything which is highly politicized. We simply need to be winning many more battles in order to win the war against this deadly disease, and you could see the entire world is suffering. So we need to stick to it, we need to persevere. This is what he said earlier today, 10 o'clock, when he addressed the nation for the first time after about 3.5 weeks. And I agree, we need to persist and persevere. That's all we need to do, we need to stick to it. This is not the time to be walking away from quarantine and self-isolation or social distancing measures. Now I'm gonna need the match as soon as possible. I'm being kept waiting and hanging in here, and that's really ridiculous. So this is going to be our last match for my break. So let's hope it is a swift one with a good score and with everything that we hear. We just say to our friends that technically the Crucible is there are glitches and problems. Matchmaking is faulty. Laurels are not being seen on some of the maps, and even those that you pick up don't register, so really Just doing it literally for fun more than anything else. We'll do later, hopefully with all that grenade. What else?
Enemy claimed B.
Well, I'm again thrown. Should have been long gone there. Hit from such good damage.
Zone A lost. Gained. Captured Zone A. Have zone advance. B power play. The press.
That was a bit wasn't it? Launcher, was it? Become this. Mouse. The gun.
Up and the bottom. Beat you advance.
To the internet speed, awful, painful. Shit we can't have. Neighbor. Gone.
Pressure on. Don't see. Don't.
Oh, that's nice. In there. That was it.
You took them. Now hold. Minutes remain. A strong start. Fight on.
Massive lag in there. He's gone as well.
You took them.
It is infuriating that they're getting.
Power play. Now hold. Zone B. Minutes. You're winning. Stay strong. G capture. Your legend. Well tossed.
Cool. Victory. Podcast for today. So, well, for this afternoon. So, thank you for being here throughout. Hopefully, you enjoyed what you've seen. It's been lots of activity, but unfortunately, we didn't have much joy with other bounties or, indeed, our quest medals. There is a serious technical fault here, so therefore, the Crucible is not performing. And yeah, we'll come back later today, later in the evening. So thanks very much for watching. I wish you all a very, very good afternoon.